Nashville or America or whatever, how has that influenced your art now?
Yeah, I mean, I'm here now and I see different things. And I look around again, I keep my eyes open. So I'm living in Tennessee. Tennessee is forest, it's green, horses. That's a different concept to paint, completely different. So, and not just Tennessee, but the whole country. It's such a big country. I mean, and it's so different. Every state has its own thing. So, but I painted a lot of, horses here. Landscape these days. The last year I'm doing landscapes.
Lots of landscapes.
Yes, lots of landscapes. But in my own way, I want to tell a story, just not the landscape, because it's a landscape. I will paint like a big circle in the middle of the landscape to make it visually interesting and to bring a kind of a message behind, you know, the landscape. I'm not going to say what kind of message. People need to read their own message.
Sure.
And you know.
So you feel strongly that you know, just because you have something to say within it, it doesn't mean it has to say that.
Exactly.
That other people can have a different meaning.
Exactly. Okay. That's what I personally like in art. I don't like to see the copy of the reality. It never can be the reality. It's always a copy anyway. So if you are so skilled and technical, so good that you can make almost like, you know, a photo from something you see from a photo, you know, but it's a painting. I admire the skills behind and the technical knowledge, but it doesn't inspire me. I want to see something more, a little bit more magic behind that.
I like that. I find that interesting, the idea that it's always a copy. Like anytime you do anything, whether you're doing a portrait of somebody or you're painting a landscape you see outside, it'll never be the actual thing it looks at.
Exactly.
So maybe why even bother?
Exactly.
In some senses, you know, it's like you want to be able to, at least you want to, I mean, the way I feel about it, which is I find interesting, is even though you're doing, let's say, a landscape of Mount Kilimanjaro or something, you know, let that painting be its own thing. Even though it is of something that's real or something that you see, it's never going to be that mountain.
It's never be. Even, you know, again, if you just want to do it so realistically, it's always a copy of the mountain.
In regards to your process or your technique that you use, first give us an idea of like what steps you take before you start painting, like what either ideas what causes you to be inspired to start new works?
Okay, that's a good question. It's always something. I mean, I'm not an artist who is planning all the time. I don't know how my painting will be when I'm done, you know. So I just have like a raw vision. Let's say like the painting you have seen in my house, the jumping girl. I know it will be a girl jumping. But in what, or what will be the environment she's jumping in, I don't know. That grows while I'm working. So it can be a song. Sometimes I like just a sentence in a song, like people walk in circles, something like that, and I'm like, oh my gosh, this is very interesting. So immediately I see like people walking in a circle, and that can trigger me off to make a painting.
So it sounds like to me, part of your process, or at least from beginning to end with making a painting, it's almost kind of like a journey for you anyway.
Exactly.
Because you kind of start with an idea, and then you just kind of get right out. What materials are you using to help sort of get this presentation out, and what techniques do you like to use to sort of help create this artwork that really is yours?
I started with oil, but my studio is in my basement, and it's my little place. And the air circulation is not really good, and I'm like, well, yes, I will take a lot for art, but I don't want to die for my art, because it was really getting worse, the turpentine and the oil and the bad circulation. So I just started to paint with acrylics. And people actually don't see the difference. I can use it in a way that it looks like oil, or maybe I use my oil that it looks like acrylic. So, and I like acrylics a lot because it dries very quick.
Yes.
And oil, you paint yourself in oil.
Yeah, I do both oil and
yes,
acrylic.
and so you know the difference.
Yeah.
And okay, it has something oil, but I mean, I like acrylics more.
Okay. Now, I know you're using acrylics. You're also using, you use Conte crayons and some other things to help accent a lot of the works, if I'm not mistaken. And you also mentioned something to me in our prior talks about kind of a scratching away technique. Can you describe that for us a little bit?
Yes. I do start with a medium, like a paste, you know, the matte medium. And I bring that on my canvas, on my surface, and I mix that a bit with colors. So that's my starting point, and it looks like an abstract work.
Yes.
You know, that's what
Sure.
I have. And then I build and I build and I put new colors and I give more shapes and I give, you know, more form, and I scratch a lot away in my canvas because I like the process. The color, another color, scratch a little bit, the color is coming through, do some more color. For that I use, I don't know the real English word for that, like a box cutter, how do you say that, like
X-Acto knife.
X-Acto knife.
Yes, I was like, it was good charades there.
Why the name? Why not just a cutting knife, whatever?
Yeah.
Yes. So I use that to scratch paint away, or a palette knife also, or sharp things for sure.
Anything sharp to.
Anything sharp. Yes.
The thing that when people see your work, especially when they see it up close, sometimes I think, even with the reproductions, sometimes you miss some of those little subtleties.
Yes.
Because when I look at them up close, you can really see how that scratching away creates some of that see-through, where you have one color and a color underneath, and they kind of play with each other.
Yeah.
I really enjoy that about your work. Yes. Two last questions before we wrap it up. First of all, how do you feel about the Nashville art scene right now? Like, you've been around it. A lot of people know who you are in town. You've done a lot of different shows. What do you think about the Nashville art scene and what's offered here in the artists that I know you know some very personally, and you have friends in the scene. So just maybe elaborate like your feelings about it, being a part of it.
It's very interesting. I like to be here, but it's not like big cities.
Yes.
Not the quality or the value of work. It's really good in Nashville. We have very good artists. We have a lot of artists to be too, you know. So, but that doesn't matter. There are really good artists, and there are venues, and they are growing. The problem is, I think, that the real, it's not a nice word to use, investors or the people who really want to spend money to buy art, they think that Nashville is not a city to go. You know what I mean? They go to bigger cities, and it's a really downside for all of us. Because we can show beautiful work, there are a few they will buy, and it's an international city, Nashville, and there are people coming from everywhere, but somewhere the people, they really are willing to give a couple of thousands to a painting. It's hard to spend it here in Nashville, and that's a reality.
So do you see, do you see that possibly changing between now and 10 years, or if not, what would help to make it change in your opinion?
Of course, we are in a bad economy. That doesn't help. No, it doesn't help. It doesn't help, and it hurts many cities, even the big cities. I know that, and I know galleries are closing down because they don't sell. So that's part of the deal too. I think when we were in the economy of 10, 15 years ago, it would be fine. I think people were buying more in Nashville. Now they are just, they don't have the money. And the people with the money, they don't want to spend it because they're not safe what the future will bring them.
So do you feel like if we
I feel it's more the economy. So if that is going better, And what we have today in Nashville, the venues, the newer galleries, the Nashville Art Magazine, who does great work for artists, I think people realize and will realize that there is good art, that we have good art.
It'll start bringing more.
Yes,
and then
right.
more is
So I'm quite positive, but I mean, that's the reality. Who buys art? I mean, it's not like you don't eat it, you don't wear it, you really don't show off. With the car, you can show off. With the house, art, it's for a very small, selected public.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, obviously, that's always been the struggle with art over time, is because it's every person in the world can't just buy art.
Exactly.
Money is not that freely spent by most people.
Yes, and I realize that. I mean, I can live with that.
Yeah. That makes complete sense. If the economy was to grow, to change, go in a better direction, all those things, you would assume that Nashville would be continue to grow in that. And if the economy stays stagnant, it's going to continue to be sort of maybe stuck in a spot for a little while. I do agree with you that things like Nashville Arts Magazine, the first Center for the Visual Arts, which came in 10 years ago, a ton of these things that have been happening in the last new galleries in the last 10 years.
The Art Crawl.
Art Crawl, which is a really great thing. All of this stuff is really helping Nashville sort of move in that direction. Yeah, I think overall, like a good sort of understanding is that I think it's as long as we can continue to make artwork and do our very best, and that talented people, people with vision, continue to come to Nashville and live in Nashville. As opportunities arise, as more things change, I can't help but be positive to believe that it's going to continue to get better, and that more people are going to really appreciate the uniqueness of this place and what it has to offer.
Yes, it is already for the music. I mean, that's a completely different field. I mean,
it's a completely different field, but I think it helps because if we didn't have the music originally, Nashville would be even more obscure.
Yes,
it has a sort of celebrity in its own right as a city because of that, which gives it more credibility than some other towns.
That's what I like about Nashville. The music, what's going on music-wise.
Yeah, it's very cool. Really it's always been cool. It's one of the things that brought me here too. And so I love everything about that as well. Well, it's been an absolute pleasure to sit down with you. I've always, ever since the first time I met her and went through your websites, I've always enjoyed your work, and I'm really grateful you took the time to sit down with me and everyone at Nashville Art Makers. So really quickly before we go ahead and tell Nashville Art Makers where we can find your websites, anywhere we can see your work, and we're going to also post that as well.
Well, I have my own gallery, and that's at the Arcade, and I'm part of the Art Crawl every first Saturday of the month. You can always contact me, and I will show you my work if you cannot come at the Art Crawl. And I'm also represented by a newer gallery in Franklin, Gallery 202, very nice by the way. And I'm also represented by Simon Ripley Music Store. You know,
that's where we met.
That's why we met. They're very nice people, very good store for the musicians and for the art. And I'm thinking where else? And my website. And that's it.
That's very good. So all those things will be listed also in the blog, so you'll be able to see that if you can't remember it from the video. But we are glad to have everyone here watching, and thank you for joining us here at Nashville Art Makers, and we'll see you next time. Thanks. Bye.
Bye.
All right.